What? Are you doing season 2 of that stupid show?
Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports. It's your boy, Hanger, looking for a beer. Actually, we're all looking for a beer, so if you want to buy the guys a beer, at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports on Venmo. That's it. Easy as drinking a beer. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, man, how can I help these guys out? Well, first thing you can do, subscribe to the show. By subscribing to the show, you'll be able to hear it every single week on your favorite podcatcher. Second thing you do, if your podcatcher lets you do it, give it a review and 5 stars. I know Apple Podcasts will allow you to do that. So give it 5 stars and a review. And then the third thing you do is hop on Facebook, type in Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. You'll see our group there. Join it. You'll love it. Best sports group on Facebook, guaranteed. Lots of good stuff going on in there, so check it out. And then come back next week for Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. What's up, everybody? Week 7, college football. This is your boy, Hanger. This is Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, talking about the wrap-up. We're doing this show weekly for you just to wrap up the top 25 teams and some notable games and so forth as we exit the Week 7 football and move on to Week 8. Don't want to be recapping those during the shows that we're doing on Thursday at MJ's Bar and Grill in Columbia, South Carolina. So we're going to be talking about the next week of football when we do that show. And by the way, there will be a show this week. I apologize I was not able to get one out. I don't want to be doing these solo shows anymore. I'd rather just skip the week or maybe just throw together a quick recap of the games for the weekend if I need to go out of town on business. But for now, I know that the next couple of weeks we're going to be able to do this show. Probably for the rest of the season we're going to be able to do this show. I might do some traveling towards the middle of November or so, but I'll try to do those on a different day. But anyway, besides that point, let's get right into some college football for you. That is what you're here to listen to, not my ramblings about what's going on in my work life. So going on, number 24, San Diego State versus San Jose State ended up in a challenging win for San Diego as the game goes into double overtime, being 6-6 at the end of regulation. A very low-scoring game. After both teams scored in the first overtime, San Diego State is able to hold on to their record and put up 6 points to win 19-13 against San Jose State. Number 22, North Carolina State takes out Boston College easily as they dominated the Eagles the entire game, winning 33-7 and giving BC their second loss. A 5-1 NC State team will be playing Miami next week. Fresh off the excitement of beating Alabama, number 21, Texas A&M puts up 21 points in the first quarter and has no problem putting down Missouri 35-14. Texas A&M is hosting South Carolina next week after barely beating Vanderbilt this week. I'd say the Aggies are safe next week as well. Number 20, Florida went to Death Valley to play LSU and beat the crap out of themselves with 4 interceptions in the game in an exciting offensive matchup that ended in a 49-42 loss by the Gators. Dan Mullen pulled out starter Emory Jones after he failed to do anything in the first half. I believe it was like the second drive of the third quarter. Anthony Richard comes in and helps the Gators tie it up. They were down 14 points, going score to score for the next couple possessions. A last-minute interception by Anthony Richardson makes it so that they cannot tie up the game and ends up losing. So sad day for this Gator fan, by the way. Really destroyed our dreams, although, to get into the playoff with 2 losses was going to be challenging enough. Now I have a whole board full of scenarios that can make it so the Gators can get into the playoff. But, that's not happening. But anyway, keep on going. They do play Georgia, and that would be a nice little novelty if they could beat Georgia, an undefeated Georgia, by the way. All right, and another upset. Oh, by the way, lots of upsets this weekend. That was your first upset. Number 20, Florida loses to LSU. Next upset of the week. In another one, it's number 19, BYU loses to Baylor, 38-24. Baylor's a pretty good team this year being 6-1, and they're definitely a force to be reckoned with in the Big 12. I presume when the top 25 comes out later today, you will see that Baylor's going to be ranked, especially being 6-1. Number 18, Arizona was upset by Utah, 35-21. So that's your third upset of the week. In their second loss of the season, Arizona takes a loss. And I didn't get to watch that game, but definitely Utah seems like they're able to put some upsets on the board against other teams as well. Ranked opponents going to Utah are going to have a challenge. Another upset. Oh my gosh, 4 upsets of the week. The Cinderella story is officially over. Number 17, Razorbacks of Arkansas fell to Auburn Tigers. Bo Nix was spot on all 4 quarters, leading his team to a road win victory, 38-23. I know my boy Chopper's happy about this. Auburn has a tough schedule ahead, though. They're going to be playing Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Alabama to close out their season. That's going to be a huge challenge for these guys going forward. I cannot imagine how it's going to turn out. But if they do win all those games, I can see them going to the SEC championship. We'll see how that goes. Lane Kiffin and his Ole Miss Rebels the number 13 Ole Miss Rebels, by the way, seemed to run away in the first half against Tennessee. But in the second half, Tennessee looked like they could take the game over with, I think it was 3 seconds to go. They were within scoring distance, but were not able to make it. And Ole Miss wins that game against the Volunteers 31-26. It looked like there was going to be an upset brewing in Austin, Texas, where number 25 Longhorns were hosting number 12 Oklahoma State, winning 24-16 after the third quarter. The Longhorns were then shut out in the fourth quarter, while Oklahoma State was able to put up 16 points. The Cowboys beat Texas 32-24. Number 10 Michigan State remains unbeaten, but looks very beatable against Indiana. Both teams struggled to score, but the Spartans managed to win 20-15. 3 of their next 5 games will be against current top 10 opponents. That's Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. They have a tough road ahead of them as well. Number 9, Oregon Ducks beat California on Friday night 24-17 in a game that the Ducks struggled against a 1-win California team, by the way. Oregon is now 5-1 with a pretty light schedule the rest of the season. I don't see them losing any more games, but you never know. I do believe they go to Utah soon. Number 5, Alabama has no problems against Mississippi State and their Cowbells to take the dominant win over them 49-9. Bryce Young was 20 for 28 with 348 yards and 4 touchdown passes, making a statement after a loss against Texas A&M last week. The Tide host rival Tennessee next week. Tennessee's actually looking decent, so we'll see how they end up faring against Alabama. Alabama's beatable. We found that out last week. Undefeated, number 3, Oklahoma Sooners are working hard to cancel any doubts people have as to whether they should be in the top 4, making offensive improvements to put up 52 points against TCU's 31. Obviously, they need a little bit of work on defense then. Missing was Spencer Rattler for Oklahoma as Caleb Williams shines with 4 touchdowns and 295 yards through the air. Absolutely insane. Spencer Rattler was the one guy that was kind of holding up that offense, I think. Caleb Williams looks like he's on fire. Number 3, Cincinnati, still trying hard to prove to the playoff committee that they deserve some respect. put a beating on UCF 56-21. The biggest question is, will the playoff committee give them the benefit of the doubt, or will they shut that group of 6 team out? Who knows? It's hard to tell. Cincinnati definitely looks good, but literally they play nobody, which, the biggest game they had of the season was Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's not even looking that good as well. So let's see what happens with that. The biggest upset of the week, what is that, 5 upsets for the week? But this is the biggest one. Iowa Hawkeyes, number 2. They are looking dominant all season. You cannot deny that. Host the Boilermakers and lose. That's right. It was not even a small loss either. 24-7. Purdue was looking solid in that game defensively. The Hawkeyes were looking rough offensively. And huge upset. My, how the mighty have fallen, right? Very interesting to see that there. And finally, and it's undisputable, guys. The number one team in the nation is Georgia. They are just, you cannot score against these guys. It is tough to put any points on the board against this Bulldogs defense right now. Offensively, I think they found their guy in Stetson Bennett. He's able to put up touchdowns. He's threw for 250 yards, 3 touchdowns for the day. As much as I hate to say it as a Florida fan, these guys are looking good. It is going to be a tough matchup at the end of October when Georgia and Florida meet in Jacksonville. But Georgia beat the pants off of that number 11 Kentucky team, by the way, who was undefeated going into this game. Georgia wins 30-13. Kentucky just was having a hard time with that offense, man, or with that defense against Georgia. But that is your week in the weekly wrap-up for the Week 7 of college football. Join us for the NFL weekly wrap-up on Tuesday morning as well. And then on Thursday, we'll be doing that show over at MJ's Bar and Grill. Check it out. That is my favorite show when we all get together and just talk sports. Excellent. I love the camaraderie that we have with the guys and the gals that are on that show, and you will love it too, so keep on checking it out. But keep on coming back every week, 3 times a week, for Guys at the Bar Talking Sports.